Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is yet another Eurovision 2025 related video here on my channel, and today I am doing an early predictions for the results of the semi-finals of the 2025 edition of the Eurovision Song Contest, which as we all know will take place 1 month from now in Basel, Switzerland. As always, you're welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. I have my notebook here in front of me. What I'm going to do is very simply go through the lineups of both semi-finals in a little bit of detail, and I'm going to make a note of those countries that at this stage, early April 2025, I believe are likely to go through to the grand final in Basel next month. So I have the lineups in front of me, and we are going to begin with semi-final 1. Now I should say that I have seen the betting odds for both semi-finals. Those odds have been out for a little while now, and I will be keeping an eye on them moving forwards, absolutely, no doubt about it. But I don't think anybody should be taking them too seriously at this stage. And my plan is to film another video very similar to this one at the end of April, just to see if my opinions have changed a little bit. I suspect they won't, but you never know. Of course, at this stage, as I'm recording this video you're watching now, we have not had any pre-parties. By the end of this month, pretty much all of them will have happened, I believe. So opinions will change for many Eurovision fans, I am sure, and that might play a part in terms of who moves up and down in the betting odds, and who knows, my opinions might change a little bit as well. We all know what happened with Belgium, for example, last year. So getting back on track, let's do this. Semi-final 1 will take place on Tuesday the 13th of May. 15 countries, that's it, not many at all, will compete in that show. They will all vote alongside Italy, Spain and Switzerland, and of course the rest of the world will vote as well. Now I am interested to know your thoughts on this. Who will get the 12 points from the rest of the world in semi-final 1 and semi-final 2, because who knows, it could end up being quite crucial. Who knows? I'm very interested to know your thoughts on that. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to mention those countries that at this stage I believe are very, very likely to qualify, barring some sort of complete catastrophe. So I'm looking at the lineup for semi-final 1, and I can see Poland right there, song number 2. I don't see a situation in which Poland fail to qualify for the final this year. 12 months ago, it was The Tower by Luna. It was very touch and go, and as we are all very much aware, Poland did not qualify for the final in Malmö. 1 year on, I think pretty much everybody is expecting Poland to be in the final in Basel. This is the returning Justyna Steczkowska with Gaia. She was there in Dublin in the mid-90s, and all these years later she is back representing her country. This is a far superior song in my opinion compared to the one that she was at Eurovision with all those years ago. This is a very fierce, powerful, quite frantic song with, it must be said, quite chaotic, frantic staging. But it does sort of go with the song, if you see what I mean. I'm hoping everything is a little bit tighter at Eurovision and it all comes together very nicely and it doesn't feel as though it's a little bit too on the cluttered side, if you see what I mean. Anyway, this is definitely going through as far as I'm concerned. I think a lot of Eurovision fans are loving this. We have to think about the first-time listeners / viewers. Will they be on board with this? I'm sure quite a few of them will be. I don't have any concerns about Poland whatsoever this year. This is absolutely a contender to finish in the top 10 in the final, in my opinion, at this stage. So Poland are on the list. Of course, we know this is a country that also has a bit of a diaspora vote, which can play a part some years, not every year, but some years it plays its part. But even if the diaspora wasn't a thing for Poland, I would still very much expect this country to qualify for the final with relative ease this time around. So, the next country that I think I have to put down is Estonia. And I love Estonia at Eurovision more often than not. I've said this before, one of my favourite countries in the ESC. I usually love their entries. This time around, that is not so much the case, it has to be said. Espresso Macchiato is clearly a bit of a jokey entry, not to be taken seriously at all. Pure tongue-in-cheek stuff. Tommy Cash is quite a divisive figure. I don't think he's a particularly strong vocalist. Saying that, I've not seen many of his live performances besides his performance at the Estonian national final of this particular song. I wasn't blown away by that performance whatsoever. I thought the staging was very disappointing too. It'll be interesting to see what happens in Basel, what changes will be made, because by God, changes are necessary, in my opinion. Saying that, he could just do the exact same again and get away with it. He's one of the biggest names in this year's competition. He's going to get a lot of media attention. Part of me feels as though he might be treating Eurovision as some sort of experiment somehow. I'm not really sure how to word it. Maybe you agree with me on this, maybe you don't. One thing is for sure, though. Barring some sort of catastrophe, Estonia will be in the final this year, even if I'm not a huge lover of the song. Estonia are on the list. Then we have Ukraine, song 5 in semi-final 1 this year. The all-male group Zifferblatt with Bird of Prey. There they are, Daniel, Valentin and Fedir. So I'm not a huge lover of the Ukrainian effort this time around. I don't think it's massively competitive, but I certainly don't think it's a poor song. Now, Ukraine have never not qualified for the final. They almost always do incredibly well in the public vote. Last year, a huge score in the final from the public. In 2023, a pretty good score from the public in the final. In 2022, the highest public score we've ever had. In 2021, second, if I remember correctly, with the public in that half of the results in Rotterdam. You have to go back pretty much to 2017 when Ukraine were the hosts for the last time the public weren't massively on board with a Ukrainian entry. Now, I've seen a few comments online over the past couple of weeks from individuals saying that they are unsure of Ukraine's chances of progression this time around. The song just isn't that strong, it's a bit boring, it's not competitive, and so on. Now, I've just said I'm not a huge lover of this track. But if you think this isn't going through, and I say this with all due respect, you're an idiot. This is very, very clearly going through as far as I'm concerned. Barring some sort of catastrophe, Ukraine will be in the final again. And this is probably going to finish in the top 10 in the final. It really could happen again. Ukraine just know what they're doing. They don't mess about. They want to win. And although this song I don't think will come close to winning at all, they're going to get a very good result in the final. I'm sure of it. And I've said this before too, Ukraine are very, very good at sending entries unlike anything else in the competition. You can never really say, oh, Ukraine's song, it sounds like that country's song. That never usually happens. It's very, very impressive. They just do something a little bit different every year, and people generally are on board with whatever they send. Ukraine are going to be in the final. There will be a point in time when Ukraine don't go through. It will happen. I just don't know when. None of us do. I remember years ago, Azerbaijan. Yes, once upon a time, they qualified every year. And Romania were like that as well. But then in 2018, neither of those countries made the final in Lisbon. And it was a little bit surprising, but it was going to happen at some point. They weren't going to qualify at some point. Sweden didn't qualify in 2010, as we are all very much aware. And it will happen with Ukraine at some point in the future, but not this year. Then we move on to Sweden, who I just mentioned. This is obviously going through for crying out loud. It's a 100% public vote semi-final. The public are going to eat this up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a dessert at the end of the day as well. This is quite clearly the one to beat, perhaps in the final, definitely in the semi-final. You know, if you finish above Sweden, you are probably winning this semi-final. It's Kai with Barbarabastu, Sweden doing something a bit different. Hallelujah. All-male group, one of whom was born on the exact same day as me, which is quite interesting. Singing in Swedish for the first time this century, and a lot of people are on board with it. And it's not often the case, it must be said in recent times, that the public are very much on board with a Swedish Eurovision entry. Even Loreen in Liverpool in 2023, I would say there was a bit of backlash towards her track, for whatever reason. But this time around, this is a almost universally loved tune. It's already gone viral. It's been #1 for weeks in Sweden, #1 for weeks in Finland. Points will pour in from all corners, and it is absolutely a contender for the win in the final. Sweden are going through, and they know it. They've only got to turn up. Then I'm looking at the Netherlands. Yes, I'll mention the Netherlands next, why not? This is Claude with C'est la vie, that's life. He just seems like a really nice man. I watched an interview with him online very recently. He just seems like a very well-spoken, thoughtful, young individual, and I wish him the very best. This song is not really doing anything amazing in terms of its melody. It's perhaps lacking a little bit of dynamism. I can never pronounce that word correctly, but you know what I'm on about. It's lacking maybe a bit of sparkle to make it truly have that wow factor, perhaps. But I think in the final, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself again here, this is going to do exceptionally well in the jury vote. Really, really well indeed. In a 100% public vote semi-final, I still think this is going through. Maybe not really, really up there, first, second, third. I'm not sure about that yet, but definitely this is one of the strongest songs in this semi-final. And if the public have any sense about them whatsoever, this should be going through with some ease indeed. He's already performed this live. He sounded great. I'm looking forward to the staging at Eurovision, which could be all one camera shot, all one take. That could be very interesting. Anyway, it's going through. I'm a big fan. So that's 5 countries down. Now it gets a little bit more iffy, but we can include Albania on this list. Albania, it's usually a bit touch and go, but this time around, there's so much love for this track, and I think a lot of people are saying, wouldn't it be great if Albania won the whole thing? Because they've never won before. It would be very exciting to have Eurovision in Albania. The song is great. We've known about it for so long, blah, blah, blah. Could it happen? Well, I have never viewed the Albanian song as a possible winner. However, the more I hear this, the more I think it is going to be up there, possibly in the top 6 in the grand final. I think that's definitely a possibility. This is Shkodra Elektronika with Schörn. It was the winner of FIC towards the end of last year, and I really don't mind it. Not one of my big favourites, but if anything, it is growing on me as the weeks pass by. And who knows where I'll have it in my personal ranking of this year's songs by the time the contest is upon us. I think this is going through. I don't think it's winning semi-final 1. I'm not sure it's finishing in the top 3 of semi-final 1. And there is a very strong possibility that this song will not do as well as people say it will, or think it will. There is the possibility of this song flopping. First-time listeners and viewers Will they love it as much as Eurovision fans love it, or is it just Eurovision fans being a little bit delusional? I don't know. But I expect this to do very well. It's going through without much of a problem. So that is 6 countries down. Now, can we really add anybody else at this stage into the safe pile? Maybe. Maybe. I'm going to include 2 more countries. I'm going to include 3 more countries, actually. Because why not? I think Cyprus are going to go through. They're closing semi-final 1, maybe a bit of a surprise, but then again, maybe they've got really impressive staging. Hello! The staging could well stand out a great deal more than the actual song. This is Theo Evan with Shush. Don't mind this. It feels quite current, quite radio-friendly. I'm not sure about the vocals. I think this has been performed live, but I've not seen that performance yet. And it doesn't really matter. What matters is what we get on that Eurovision stage next month. I have to say, part of me really expected a song like this, in all honesty. So I'm not massively disappointed, but I'm not massively blown away either. Cyprus usually go through, and usually without much of a problem. I always think back to 2017, Gravity by Hovig. That song, which to this day I'm surprised even made the final, went through quite comfortably indeed. And I'm not sure many people really expected that at the time. I could be wrong, but I certainly didn't expect it to go through as comfortably as it did. Anyway, I always think back to that result, and I wouldn't be surprised if this year in semi-final 1 we have Sweden winning it, followed by Ukraine, Estonia, Netherlands, and then Cyprus a 5th. I wouldn't be surprised if Cyprus finish above some bigger fan favourites this year. I really wouldn't be shocked. They're on last in this semi-final, a cushy slot. They're going through. So that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 qualifiers already. Qualifier 8, I'm going to put Norway down. I am not the biggest lover of this track. By Jove, it's bang average. Bang average. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. But by Jove, this is bang average. It's Kyle Alessandro with Lighter. I think what this song has working in its favour is the MGP performance was very solid. There wasn't really much to fault with it. And that means that you can just take what you have, tweak it ever so slightly, and plop it straight onto that Eurovision stage and not really worry about things, because you've already got something great to work with. You're not starting from square one again, which is fantastic. Kyle is not a bad performer. He's a young guy with quite a bit of energy. I just feel as though this song, in other national finals, probably wouldn't come close to winning. In Melfest, I don't think this would have been anywhere near victory. But in MGP, and it was a pretty poor MGP final this time around, he was the one who came out on top very comfortably. I think Norway are going to go through, but I can't really see this doing incredibly well in the final at this stage. The next country I'm writing down, and I'm aware this video is taking ages, is Belgium. Some people are comparing, and I'm not surprised, Belgium's entry to Cyprus's entry. They are going in the same sort of vein. I think Belgium are doing it more successfully, if I'm being honest with you. I think the Belgian song is a little bit more exciting. It's a little bit more mysterious. It feels a little bit more polished. It feels a little bit more structurally robust, if you see what I mean. Maybe I'm talking crap, but I think the Belgian entry, as much as I'm not a big lover of it, and I think I narrowly prefer Cyprus's entry at this moment in time, I look at Belgium's song and I think, yeah, this is good, this is solid. At one point this Eurovision season, Belgium were favourites to win. That's not happening. That's not happening. And this was not my favourite in the Belgian selection whatsoever. You had Mentissa, you had Le Manu, you had Perfectly Imperfect by Lees or Leys, not sure how you pronounce it. You had some very fine entries in the Belgian national selection. I don't think Red Sebastian should have won nearly as comfortably as he did. It should have been a hell of a lot closer because it wasn't a bad batch. But in all honesty, looking back at that national final lineup, I think that this probably was the best choice in all honesty. I think the staging could be quite impressive, maybe more so than the song. He's clearly a very decent vocalist indeed, hitting some big notes. I think Belgium are going to go through, but it's definitely not a very, very safe qualifier. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 9 qualifiers right there. So who's going to be the 10th qualifier? Well, can we rule anybody out? Slovenia. Out. I just don't see enough love for it. Yes, it's going to stand out because it's the most straightforward ballad we have in this semi-final in a complete ocean of very up-tempo, expressive entries. Clemen, with how much time do we have left for Slovenia? This is a very welcome, albeit early on in the running order, breath of fresh air. However, the truth of the matter is this. It's a 100% public vote semi-final. We have seen it for the past few years now. Some countries will end up with barely any points at all. Barely anything. Less than 10 points. It could happen. And 1 or 2 countries in this first semi-final are going to end up with peanuts. Barely anything. And I just don't see Slovenia getting a lot of love. It's a fine song, but it's probably going to get less than 10 points. So it's out. Out. If it goes through, great. Absolutely tremendous result. But I don't see it happening. I think we've also got to say goodbye to Croatia. I can't think of a bigger downgrade in recent years. To go from Baby Lasagna with Vrim Tim Taggy Dim to Marko Bošnjak with Poison Cake. He is not the problem. The song, oh my word. It's the chorus. The verses are all right. The chorus, though, ugh. And the lyrics are very icky. And, I'm just not a huge fan of so many things about this song, I'm afraid to say. I don't see Croatia going through. I'd be really surprised. Really surprised. Look at the end of semi-final 1. Albania, Netherlands, Croatia, Cyprus. Are all 4 of those songs going to go through? I'm not sure they will. Croatia, it's goodbye. Then we can probably rule out... Can we rule out Azerbaijan? They haven't been good for the past couple of years. They've been trying things a little bit differently from before, which is great. And this is their strongest effort for some time, if you ask me. I don't think anybody should really be sleeping on this song because it could be great live. But in terms of the support, it's one of those entries a lot of people might say, yeah, not bad. But they're just not going to vote for it. And as a result, a low score. I think Azerbaijan are probably gone. So who does that leave? Iceland, Portugal, San Marino. I think that's it. Am I missing anybody else out? I don't think so. So, Iceland. It's Jedward 2.0 pretty much, although from Iceland. This is Vibe with Roa. And this is a great opener to the show. It's lively, sea shanty in style, very catchy, likeable, maybe a bit irritating to some people, but I certainly don't mind it. And in the betting odds, this is nowhere. But I do not think for 1 second it's dead on arrival. And it's in Icelandic. Very nice. Then we have Portugal, maybe a bit of a surprising winner of FDC. This is very gentle, very meandering in terms of its style, very relaxed, nothing flashy about it whatsoever. Some people will really appreciate it, but then you will have some people who are bored to tears listening to this. That's the truth of the matter. And it's a case of thinking, okay, will first-time listeners to this song love it or be bored to tears by it? What's more likely to happen? Now, there is, I believe, because I've seen some people mention this online, a Portuguese diaspora. If that kicks in, Portugal are probably going through. If it does not kick in, Portugal are in trouble. I don't even know how big this diaspora is. I think Portugal, I'm going to say at this stage they're out. I just don't think it's quite hitting the mark. So that leaves San Marino against Iceland. Gabri Ponte is a big star. He's had a lot of success. And Tutta l'Italia is already a smash hit in Italy. And Italy can vote for San Marino. That's probably 12 points in the bag. So San Marino won't be finishing last in this semi-final because 12 points will be enough, surely, to stay away from last place in a semi-final this year. And who knows, if Italy do dish out the 12 points to San Marino instead of Estonia, which is where the 12 points could well go indeed as well, then you never know. That could be it. Those 12 points from Italy to San Marino could be the difference between qualification and not going through. And I think the general feeling is that even if you're not a lover of Tutta l'Italia, seeing San Marino in the final would be absolutely fantastic. And if they get drawn in the first half, or that crappy producer's choice shite that they introduced last year for no reason, San Marino could open the grand final. And I think it would be a good way to get things going. Anyway, Iceland or San Marino? I think it's more likely to be Iceland. But by Jove, I think it's close. I think it's close. Iceland to go through, San Marino to narrowly miss out. That's semi-final 1. Shall we now crack on at last with semi-final 2? Bear with me, I've been speaking for nearly half an hour. Disgraceful. Semi-final 2 will take place on Thursday the 15th of May. 16 countries involved. They'll all vote, alongside France, Germany and the UK, plus the rest of the world. This is much more difficult to predict, I would say. It's the semi-final that I'm looking forward to the most. I think it is far less stinky than semi-final 1. So, let's go through the safe qualifiers. I'm looking at Australia. It's quirky. It's different. It's a bit surprising from Australia, we could say. Milkshake Man by Gojo, clearly quite suggestive. Like hell, he's really talking about milkshakes. This song, it's fine. It's a bit groovy. It's a bit cool. But there's also something that feels quite retro about it. I'm on board with it. Not a huge lover of the track, but it's fine. Could be a complete shambles live, and that could really kill this song's chances of doing really well in the final. But I think it's likely to go through. At this stage, Australia likely to go through. It's worth saying, songs that have opened the second semi-final in recent years have not fared well at all. Sarah Bonici didn't qualify for Malta last year, opening semi-final 2. She was last in the second semi, as a matter of fact. In 2023, I'm just going to take a look here. In 2023, it was Riley for Denmark. He was nowhere to be found. The Rasmus did make the final for Finland in Turin, but didn't do very well in the final. Senate completely flopped, it has to be said, for San Marino in 2021. Only 50 points, 22nd place. Then we had Serbuk for Armenia in 2019. She didn't qualify. You have to go back to Alexander Rybak in 2018. He won the second semi-final. So it's very, very interesting to see this pattern of songs opening semi-final 2 in recent years. They haven't always fared that well. But I think Milkshake Man by Gojo for Australia going to go through. I'm looking at Austria clearly going through. It is between this and Israel for winning semi-final 2, if you ask me at this stage. JJ Wasted Love, he can sing this live, I've no doubt about it. I've seen a few clips of him singing, absolutely fantastic. There's a video of him singing this with Remember Monday from the UK, I believe. I think it's on their Instagram page. And wow, he sounded great, absolutely fantastic. So I've got no concerns at all. The staging, I'm sure, is going to be epic. The song feels epic. This really sort of euphoric sounding final third of the song as well, going to take people off guard. Really wonderful. Austria are going through. I think Greece are going through, maybe in about 7th or 8th place in this semi-final, I would say at this moment in time. Klavdia, beautiful woman. Asteromata, beautiful song. It's flying under the radar a little bit. Those juries in the final could absolutely love this one. In a 100% public vote semi-final, yeah, I think there will be enough points from enough countries to see Greece over the line. And I actually prefer this song to last year's Greek entry. I'm looking at Israel. They're obviously going through. It will be a massively inflated score again, I'm sure. I have heard this song all the way through once and bits and pieces of it in other people's videos here and there. I think it's better than last year's entry. Not by much, but I think it's better. A very fine vocalist indeed. There was all this talk about, the juries ruined any chance of an Israeli victory last year, which I can sort of understand, but Israel weren't anywhere near the bottom with the juries last year, so I wouldn't say that they were totally dead and buried by the juries. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I think this song is fine. It's a pretty schmaltzy ballad, but we all know, based on what happened last year, the same is probably going to happen again. Israel are challengers to win, not just this semi-final, but the final. Then I'm looking at Finland, and this should definitely be in with a very strong shot of winning this semi-final, and potentially the final as well. I think some attention has shifted away from Erika Wickman with Ich Komme in recent weeks, for whatever reason, but man oh man, she's a great performer, owned the stage at UMK. She's going to do the same in Basel, I've no concerns. This is fierce and empowering and confident, and she's strutting about that stage, looking fantastic. Really, really in control of everything. Very, very impressive. I talk about it all the time. You cannot go out there and not deliver the goods. No excuses whatsoever. If you are a fine performer and you have full faith in your vocals and your ability to command the stage and the camera angles and all that business as well, and you've got a good team around you, there is no excuse for going out there and not delivering the goods. And Finland, a great example to every other country this year as to how to deliver. This is going through, no problem whatsoever, and Finland are going to continue this very good streak of appearing in a Eurovision final. So that's 5 countries down. Can we include anybody else? I'm really not sure we can. Can we rule anybody out? Montenegro, goodbye. On early, not that the running order matters too much, Nina Žižić is a great vocalist. Very powerful. Really feeling this song. Really feeling every syllable of it. She's great. No complaints. The song, it's not bad, but I don't love it, and I just don't know if this is going to get enough support. It's a tough semi-final to get out of. So I think Montenegro are done. I'm looking at Georgia. If that goes through, you will see me collapse from shock in my reaction video next month. You may have to call an ambulance, because there's no way Georgia are qualifying this year. Give me a damn break. That song is coma-inducing. With all due respect to Mariam, who is a fine singer, this song ain't it. Out. Goodbye. A real shame, because last year I thought Georgia turned a corner. This time around they've gone straight off a cliff. I'm looking at a couple of other countries, and it's so damn tough. It really is very tough to make any sort of prediction here, because it's all up for grabs. I'm looking at Ireland, and I think Ireland's song is really quite silly. Maybe that's not the right word to use, but it feels that way. There's something very juvenile about it. And, oh man, I don't know whether it will really get over the line. Latvia, that is the dark horse of the year at this stage. Apparently the staging is going to be different. Not sure how I feel about that. They're great, vocally fine, beautiful track. Totally different from anything else this year. And, you know, if Eurovision fans were the only people voting, this would be going through quite comfortably, I would say. Most people are enjoying this a great deal. Oh, yeah, it's a great song. Armenia, I'm not sure about them. We've got to start writing down some other countries here. I think Armenia aren't going through. I'm not sure about Armenia. I just think it's going to fall through the net. This is Survivor by Parg. It's very macho, very rowdy. It's the sort of song that, you know, if somebody's having a house party and it's time to start trashing the place, you know, this is the one you stick on in the background and everybody starts flinging plant pots everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I'm talking a load of rubbish here, but it feels like that sort of song. Party central, you know, very macho, in my opinion. You better believe when he performs this on stage in Basel, he's going to be flashing those muscles. Because, you know, yeah, I think Armenia are probably in trouble. Lithuania, I think they're going through. Bit of a diaspora vote. Lithuania usually go through. This is moody, angsty, little bit repetitive, highly atmospheric. I like it, don't love it. Will probably like it more after Eurovision, in all honesty. First-time listeners, might be a bit jarring for them. Excuse me, but I still think this is probably going to get over the line. Malta. The public never really go big for Malta. Will they this year? Well, remember 2021, Destiny Je me casse. She was one of the favourites to win the whole damn contest. And the public, 40-something points. This year, Malta are not quite as big a favourite to win the whole contest. So if Destiny only got 40-something points, Mirjana is probably only going to get 20-something points, based on that logic, if you can call it logic. I just don't really know what to expect from Malta this year. The song to me is cheap, but I don't mind it at all. I think she's great. I think that she's definitely got some star quality, quite a lot of sass. She's going to own this performance as well. You know, she's definitely going to work it on that Eurovision stage. But I do feel as though the staging could be very slipshod indeed. Didn't love it at the Maltese national selection. Surprised it won, in all honesty. I think Malta are going to go through, though. I really do. So they're on the list. Okay, that's another country out. Or, you know what I mean. Another country we don't have to worry about now. Denmark. We'll come back to them. Czechia. Czechia could be this year's Belgium. There you go. I've said it. I'm sure I'm not alone in thinking that. I think Czechia are in a spot of bother. Any momentum this song had has already fallen off a cliff. That's what it feels like. I think this is a really fine track. That dance break isn't doing it for me. But on the whole, it's a very solid effort. Feels like it should be competitive, but maybe it won't be, strangely enough. I think they're going to go through, but not by much. Adonis is great, though. He can really sing. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 countries through now. Oh, boy. We've got to rule somebody else out. I think Ireland are out. Sorry, don't see it happening myself. I just feel... I'm looking at Latvia. I think more people are going to be on board with Latvia over the coming weeks. And with Ireland, any momentum this song has, I can really see it fading rather than growing. That's my reasoning here. Okay. Luxembourg. Laura Thorne, La Poupée Monte le Son. Really nice. Harking back to Luxembourg's win in the mid-60s by France Gall. Oh man, I've said before, people will be charmed by Luxembourg. They really will. And that could be enough. And France can vote for them as well. That might be a few points in the bag. Oh man. Luxembourg. Oh, it's damn close. And then Serbia. Serbia, not a lot of people really loving Mila by Prince. He's a fine singer. It's just the sort of thing that could sneak through. Just the sort of thing that could sneak through, and then Eurovision fans will moan about it, and then he'll probably finish something like 17th in the final, and that'll be the end of it. It's just the sort of thing I can see happening. Oh man, Serbia going through though, ahead of Latvia. Yeah, I can see it. Ahead of Denmark, Sissal, Hallucination, pretty bog standard pop song, but I really like it. Staging will change, I believe. Outfit will change, I believe. She's a great powerhouse vocalist. She's arguably better than the song. Oh man. Oh dear me. Dear me. Dear me. This is tough. This is so tough. How many spots have I got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 2 spots left. Latvia, Denmark, Luxembourg, Serbia. I think Denmark at this stage are out, I'm afraid. Luxembourg. That's the real difficult one to think about here, I think. Luxembourg's causing me problems. Damn it. Damn that rich, small country. I really can see Serbia doing it. Some people might be thinking, come on now, they're clearly going through. But I don't think it is clear cut. I really don't. Where are the points going to come from? And will it be enough? Will people in Austria give Serbia 6 or 7 points? Will people in Denmark give Serbia 6 or 7 points? I'm not sure they will. Will they give Latvia... Oh, it's difficult, isn't it? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to say... and I'm going out on a... on a whatever it's called here. I'm going to say Serbia and Latvia. Yeah, I think Latvia might do it at this stage, which means we say goodbye to Luxembourg. There we go. What a long rambling video this was. Thank you for sticking with me if you're still watching. To reiterate, semi-final 1, Poland, Estonia, Ukraine, Sweden, Netherlands, Albania, Cyprus, Norway, Belgium, and Iceland. And then semi-final 2, Australia, Austria, Greece, Israel, Finland, Lithuania, Malta, Czechia, Serbia, and Latvia. That's my prediction. Not to be taken too seriously, purely just for fun, at this stage, week 1 of April. And I will do this again in my own time, off camera, here and there over the course of this month. But I will probably film a video very similar to this one again at the end of this month, after a couple of the pre-parties, after pretty much all of them, I believe, to see if anything has changed. Let me know your thoughts. I'm interested to know, especially regarding that rest of the world vote shenanigans business. Clearly, I need to stop waffling because I've no idea what I'm talking about now. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now. I'll see you again soon.